Hey guys, Tyler Decker here with another video. Today we're exposing Halloween. Alright, I've not done a video like this in a while. Exposing. I figured out, I think exposing satanic media is better than giving you messages. Now, I have some messages. I think I've pretty much covered the main messages. I've covered it about the devil. I've covered math. I've covered Matthew. I've covered faith. Covered homosexuality. I think I've covered lust. If not, I will eventually. Now I'm like, I'm gonna start exposing stuff because some of this stuff is right in front of our faces and we just don't realize it. I mean, let's be honest. Let's just be honest. And this holiday is satanic. This holiday is just pure. It's gonna burn. It burns. It's worshiping demons. And then I'm gonna prove it to you. But first, I'm gonna start off with some 2 Corinthians 2:11. I like 2:11. I like to call this the devil's advantage. Alright, because it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, but we're not ignorant of his devices. His devices is pretty much everything you own. It's how you use that device though. But on Halloween, he got certain devices, like Ouija boards, those cards that witches use, those balls, those, what do you want to call them? Whatever. Some yoga spiritual stuff that is satanic. Hand symbols, like the peace sign, the upside down cross, the pentagon. I mean, not the pentagon, the pentagon, the pentagram. That's what I meant. The pentagram. The horns, like the whole hand horn thing. The peace symbol. All that is satanic. Those symbols. Now, I will admit, when I talk, sometimes I'll make like these symbols. I mean, I noticed that. That's just how I do it when I talk. I mean, I just do it. But, I mean, I don't go here swearing allegiance, you know. So, alright, so we're going to talk. Now, I found this article on Google. Alright. And this is what it says. Halloween is an annual holiday celebrated each year on October 31st, and Halloween 28 occurs on Wednesday, October 31st. It's originated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. Now, I'm going to get into Samhain here in a bit. When people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor All Saints. Soon, All Saints' Day incorporated some of the traditions of Samhain. The evening before was known as Hallows' Eve, and later Halloween. Over time, Halloween's evolved into a day of activities like trick-or-treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns, festive gatherings, donning costumes, and eating sweet treats. Oh, this just sounds so fun. But this all has a deeper meaning into it. And when you start studying the Bible, this is just pure satanic, right? It's pure satanic, and it's disgusting that walking on Halloween night. It's just disgusting. The media. Let's get with that. The media don't want you to know the truth. Because half the media nowadays is satanic. They worship the devil. They're sellouts. Is all of them sellouts? No. But most of them are nowadays. Samhain. Samhain is a demon. You get what I'm talking about here in a minute, because later on I'll read to you, it says that he's a ghost. Demons disguise themselves as ghosts. Now, trick-or-treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns. That comes from deeper meaning. It also says this. Halloween origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival Samhain, pronounced Sloan. The Celts who lived 2,000 years ago in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was often associated with human death. But that ain't satanic, human death. Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred, meaning as in they were closer together. On the night of October 31st, they celebrate Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead would return to Earth. Alright. Ghosts are demons. There's no such thing as ghosts. They are demonics. They are demons. As a matter of fact, I could prove a lot of verses in the Bible, but I'm not going to say all that because, I think I've got what I'm about to say with a verse throughout this video. I think that's going to give you a clear understanding, but, I could go on and on about demonic type stuff. But they like to appear to you as ghosts. And they would appear to you as your lost loved ones. Because, let's be honest, what better way to get to a person than with their lost loved ones? Let's be honest here. Hang on, let me get a drink. But, let's just be honest, that's what they do. And of course, back then, they would call it the spirit of the dead. Their dead relatives. But it ain't, it's demonic. And they're trying to show themselves to people. Now, what is this talking about? There's this rift. We Christians like to call it the pit. Demons go there. They're there when you cast them out. That's where they go. And on that night, people do rituals to contact the dead. Now, you could do it any day, but Halloween is the night. That's where it's all closest together. And you got Ouija boards and people, doing witchcraft, which is an abomination. Allowing these people to take vessels, take bodies, and possess people. They legit, on Halloween, make human sacrifices. They kill little babies for devils. Alright? And Samhain was a ghost of this time. But he's actually a demon. Alright. This would also go on to say, in addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts through that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the druids, the druids or Celtic priests to make predictions about the future for a people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world. These prophecies were an important source of comfort and direction during the long dark winter. To commemorate the event, druids built huge scarce bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. I'll pronounce that a certain way. Alright. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempting to tell each other fortunes. Alright. This is where it starts to get satanic here, because now they're not sacrificing. You don't say they're sacrificing humans, but they do. But this is talking about right here. You got these people. They get bonfires. They start a bonfire. They burn crops down, and they deities, however you want to pronounce that. Those are like gods, little g gods, false gods. The devil is the little g god of this world. So yeah, that they're demons. Angels could be known as deities. Alright? And they wore costumes. So this is where the whole trick-or-treat costume type thing. Most kids, they don't dress up as superheroes. No, they dress up as demons and all this type of stuff. And it says right here, typically they would cut the skin, the heads and the skin off animals and put it on them. They would have blood all over them, dancing around, telling fortunes as they watch the evil spirits come out. And that ain't satanic to you. You know, people do this. They still do it. But they're more secretive because you have the media keeping it that way. Now, you're probably saying I'm a conspiracist. No, it's truth. Alright, now this kind of goes on here, but I want to go ahead and say something. Go with me to 1 Peter. Go with me to 1 Peter 5:8. Alright, 1 Peter 5:8. This is a pretty popular verse. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. He's walking the earth right now. He's just walking with his demonic army as he sees all these people worshiping him, and they have no idea they're doing it, and he's laughing. He's roaring as he's about to go get his prey. Eat the soul of that person. Not literally, but mentally eat the soul of that person, because he ain't going to go to hell alone. He going to drag people down with him. Now, some people believe he goes to hell. Some people believe he goes to pit. That's a topic for another day. Alright, but here it says, when the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening from the scarred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter. By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic territory, and of course of the 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands. Two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. The first was Ferilia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of the celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that is practiced today on Halloween. Bobbing for apples is also satanic. Yes. How are you saying? How is getting an apple with your mouth satanic, dude? Well, this is how it's satanic. It just said it right here. And this is not even talking about it being satanic. Like, legit, it just said it. The second day was to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. A goddess is a demon. There's only one god. A little g god, and a goddess is either an idol or a demon. Either way, it's satanic. And it says the symbol of the Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of the celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples. Alright, this is mixtures with Samhain, which is a demon. We've already, I think at this point it's official. Samhain is a demon. So bobbing for apples, that comes from demons. Oh, I'm just crazy. Alright, I'll tell me I'm crazy when you're burning. Alright, tell me that. I want you to say that. Who's crazy? The devil, you, or us? Man, alright, there's this quote, alright. Who's more foolish? The fool himself, or the fool that follows the fool? It don't go like that, but it goes something like that. Alright, you know, the foolish that follows the fool, he knows he's a fool. So why is he following him? Common sense. Alright, celebration of Halloween was extremely limited in colonial New England because of the rigid Protestant belief systems there. Halloween was much more common in Maryland and the southern colonies. Now, I could go all day long. If you look up southern things, there's a lot of voodoo and all that crap going on. As the beliefs and customs of different European ethnic groups as well as the American Indians meshed, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebration included play parties, public events to help celebrate the harvest where neighbors would Share stories of the dead. Tell each other's fortunes. Dance and sing. So learn how Investo also featured the telling of ghost stories. Now I'll get on that here in a minute. But go with me to Matthew. Go with me to Matthew. Let's see here. Let's see. Matthew 5:28. 5:28. But I say unto you that whoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Women today, most of their role models, Ariana Grande, Rihanna, Beyonce, I've already discussed these, but they put santanic type stuff in their videos, and they're hoish. I'm gonna be brute honest. They are hoish. And that's why girls, they want to be like them. You know, they want to be like the role model. You know, my role model, I have a lot of role models, but I would say my role model is Jesus. And I want to be like Jesus. Every Christian should want to be like that. But I'm sure we also have other role models, you know. And on Halloween, women dress up. They might as well not be wearing clothes at all. They might as well not be. If they weren't wearing clothes, it would be the exact same thing. At parties, you know, you got all these women dressing up. You know, you might as well be at a strip club. I mean, let's be honest. And you got, now there's this thing called twerking. I'm not going to describe, because, well, I'm not going to describe something sick like that in this video. But it's twerking. And they do it at parties. They do it for money. They just what? That's exactly a prostitute right there for you. And the Bible perfectly says, you know, you need to be warned of this. This is gonna happen. And it's always been like this, but at Halloween parties, it's at its worst. And now, one of these days, I'm gonna do a video how women. Now, I'm not gonna say, oh, women are evil. No, I'm not gonna say that. But the devil will use women to turn other women and men from God. And it's happening right now in the United States and across the world. Alright? Alright, go with me also to Matthew 17, Matthew 6, 17 to 23. But thou, when thou fastest, anointest thine head, and thou wash thine face, that thou appear not unto men to fast unto thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither mother rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not speak through nor steal. For where your treasure is, where your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. And there before the light that is in the darkness, how great is that darkness. Now, stealing is a sin. This right here says stealing is a sin. Halloween. Now, this ain't so much. Like what I've said so far, that's Halloween nowadays. Back in the 40s to, I would say, 90s, people burned down houses. Still a thing on Halloween, but back then it was very prominent. And of course, drug use and cigarettes and alcohol is another big thing on Halloween, and that's very destructive. But now this video is probably going to be really long. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that now. But yeah, you know, it's like that nowadays, and it's sad to say. But stealing, you know, you got all that stealing going on. Is that good? No, it ain't good. Alright, so now back to this. Colonial Halloween festivals also featured telling the ghost stories. Alright, telling ghost stories. Annual honor Vestivites, I can't even pronounce that, were common, but Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. Now, you can look up in your history, how that goes on. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing the Irish potato famine, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. Trick or treat. Borrowing from Irish and English traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money. A practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition. Young women believe that on Halloween, now this is also satanic, on Halloween they can divine name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parents, or mirrors. Witchcraft. That is pure witchcraft right now. We're getting to witchcraft. Not talk about witchcraft here in a minute. But now we're getting to witchcraft. Witchcraft is bad, alright? I can tell you that. I can tell you that 20 million times. Witchcraft is bad. Alright? And look at mirrors. Mirrors is just good for demons. They like to... I'm not going to get into that. That's a really dark place I don't really want to talk about. But in the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween to a holiday more about community and neighborly get-togethers than about ghost pranks and witchcraft. At the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children Halloween is such a friendly holiday nowadays, kids. It's better. There ain't nothing satanic going on. It's still satanic, alright? At the time, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate the day. Parties focused on games, foods of the seasons, festive cartoons. I can't even talk. I said cartoons. Costumes. Yeah, it's been a long day, alright? I'm really sorry about that. Parents were encouraged by newspapers and community leaders to take anything frightening or caustic out of Halloween celebrations because these efforts Halloween lost most of its superstitions and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century. The American Halloween tradition of trick-or-treating probably dates back to the early All Souls Day parades in England. During the festivities, poor citizens would beg for food and families would give them pastries called sow cakes. That sounds healthy. In return for their promise to pray for the family's dead relatives. Alright, Catholics. I'm not bashing on Catholics, but they believe you can pray to your dead relatives. I'm sorry. You pray to God Almighty, Jesus Christ. Through Jesus Christ's name, you pray to God Almighty. You don't pray to your Uncle Joe, to your Uncle Bob, or your Uncle Billy, or your Uncle... I'm sorry, your Uncle Jack. I don't care. I mean, I do care that you lost them, and I'll pray for you, but you can't pray to them because they're dead. They don't go to heaven or hell to Judgment Day. They're dead. I'm sorry. They're dead. Nothing you can do about it. They're dead. Alright? This distribution of soap cakes was encouraged by the church as a way to replace the ancient practice of living food and wine for Roman spirits. Here we go with wine, because wine is so healthy in spirits. The practice, which was referred to as going, a sowing, was eventually taken up by children who would visit the houses in the neighborhood and be given out food and money. The tradition of dressing in costume of Halloween has both European and Celtic roots. Hundreds of years ago, winter was an uncertain, frightening time. Food supplies often ran low, and for many people afraid of the dark, the short days of winter were full of constant worry. On Halloween, it was believed that ghosts came back to the earthly world. People thought that they would encounter ghosts if they left their homes. To avoid being recognized by themselves, people would wear masks, and they left their homes after dark so that the ghosts would mistake them for fellow spirits. Now, they would wear costumes to hide from these spirits. On Halloween, would wear masks, On Halloween, to keep ghosts away from their house, people would place bowls of food outside their homes to appease the ghosts, prevent them from attempting to enter. Black cats. Now here we go more into witchcraft. Halloween has always been a holiday filled with mystery, magic, and superstition. It begins as a Celtic end of summer festival during which people felt especially close to deceived relatives and friends. For these friendly spirits, there are none. Set places of summer festival during which people are hang on a minute. Alright, yeah, now I want to talk about this. We avoid crossing paths with black cats, because that means bad luck. None of our costumes were too scary too. We avoid crossing paths with black cats, afraid that they might bring us bad luck. The idea is, alright, blah, blah, alright. When many people believe that witches avoid detection by turning themselves into black cats. I don't think a witch turning themselves into a black cat. But witches, the crazy people, worshipping a demon, the crazy. Or try to walk under ladders. This also comes from Egyptians with triangles. The Illuminati confirmed. You know, you got the whole Illuminatist, you know. That all comes from the Egyptians. They try to avoid breaking mirrors. I guess I better not look in the mirror then. But that's besides the point. Stepping on cracks in the road or spilling salt. So yeah. That's Halloween for you, folks. Don't do it this year. Alright. Go with me to 1 Timothy 4:1. 1 Timothy 4:1. Don't worry, I'm about done. You don't have to hear me go on for too much longer. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the later times some shall depart from faith, giving head and seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. They're talking to devils, giving heed to seducing spirits, but now that ain't satanic. This coming from the Bible. Deuteronomy. Alright. Go to Old Testament, Deuteronomy. Go with me to Deuteronomy 18. Yeah, Deuteronomy 18. Alright, Deuteronomy 18, 10 to 12. There shall not be found among you any that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the divine fire, or that who is divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, of a sorcerer with familiar spirits, or a wizard, of a necromancer. For all those that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. You know, you try to be perfect. Dad ain't trying to be perfect. I go to Galatians. Yeah, Galatians. I don't know why I want to say Galatians there. Don't judge me. Galatians 5:21. Galatians 5:21. Evenings, murders, drunkenness, revilings, and such like of this which I tell before, as I have also told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. That means they're gonna go to hell. They're gonna go to hell. Alright, with all the bad, you know. And go with me to Revelation 21:8. But be fearful of moon, and an abominable murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and adulterers, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Alright, fire and brimstone. I mean, lake of fire, that means hell. We're gonna burn in hell if you do witchcraft, because that's an abomination. By the way, this is my longest video. I want to get something straight. You burn eternally for hell, but it says that's the second death. The second death, alright, there's a different... Eternal does not necessarily always mean you're everlasting, forever. That does not always mean that. So, I might talk about that in another video. So what do y'all think about Halloween? Another proof. Satanist has even said, ex-Satanist, normal Satanist said, this is their favorite holiday, and this is because this is the one out of the year Christians let their parents worship the devil. The heck's that supposed to mean? Clearly this is satanic. What do you need to do on Halloween? This is what you need to do on Halloween. Don't participate in it. If you see someone doing Halloween, you walk the other way and you pray for these people. Alright, you need to go on your house, read your Bible, study the Bible. Hey, have church in your house. Not do satanic church. Just don't even go outside on Halloween. On Halloween, you know what you need to do? What you need to do is you need to walk in your house, let those kids go. And you don't have to let your kids go out to school on Halloween. Alright, you need to stay in that house. You need to stay in that house till 12 o'clock a.m. in the next day. Don't leave the house. And you need to pray. Read your Bible. Heck, watch a movie. Does it have to be a Christian movie? No, but just watch a movie. Just don't let it be anything to do with Halloween. So there's Halloween for you. It's satanic. It's bad. It's all around bad. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.